Yay Networks.
A quick note before we dive into today's podcast. If you like what you hear, I would love for you to subscribe to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, wherever you download your podcast. It would also be incredible if you take a minute to rate and review this podcast. Those things do matter and they really help us. I'm Molly Kimball. Welcome to Fueled, a wellness and nutrition podcast. I'm a registered dietitian and nutrition journalist with a passion to help people live their strongest, healthiest life possible. In my weekly TV segments and columns, there's a limited amount of time and space to cover everything, but there's so much more to share. This podcast is my opportunity to dive deeper into the topics you want to know about. So it's been a while since I've covered kind of a rundown of my favorite Costco finds. And those of y'all who go to Costco on the regular, you know, there's things that kind of ebbs and flows. And sometimes like the risk is we fall in love with something, we love this product, and then they don't carry it anymore. But a lot of times there's things that are sort of evergreens there. But what I really like to do is just, you know, every once in a while, just spend a little bit of extra time, walk through, turn those products over, and then share with y'all, okay, here's the latest finds that are currently on shelves at Costco. And while I could do this on my own and go through this list with y'all, I thought it'd be more fun to bring in a friend of mine who's also two things. One, she is a really big Costco fan, and she is, you know, she'll send products from there. Hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, I tried this. I loved it. You know, I thought you might be interested in it. Or do you want to try this also? Number two, she's also really interested and has a personal, a strong interest personally for nutrition. And so I'll say, well, first of all, welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me.
Over the years since I've known you, your interest in nutrition has also gotten stronger. And,
Correct.
you know, so Jennifer is Jennifer McLaughlin, and she is, you know, we're friends with Jennifer. We're friends, you know, her and her husband, Sean. Jennifer's maiden name was Hart. And so all of us, including Jennifer's husband, we call her either Hart or J Hart, hardly ever Jennifer. So as I'm talking with her through this, you may hear me say, hey, Hart, hey, J Hart, Jennifer. So any of those, it's all the same person. So J Hart, one of the first like recollections I have of you related to nutrition, do you know what it is?
Oh, it's going to be the Twizzler incident.
I think it was like the Twizzler incident of what, 2010?
Pre-nutrition.
So y'all, that's how far she's come. It was also back in the days when I was jogging, not walking, like the hips were still like jogging there. And I would pass your house in the mornings and you were walking out to work with
With my breakfast.
a fistful of Twizzlers.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say, those of y'all who listen to this podcast, you know, there's like no judgment. You know, everybody has different approaches. What works for one person, you know, may not for another. But Twizzlers for breakfast there, I was like, I don't know if I said something to you right then. I think I stopped in my tracks and said, what are you doing?
I think you did stop and you were shocked. And right then I was like, I obviously need a meeting at Oshner and I need to talk with Molly.
And
I didn't know what I was doing.
And since then, like you've gone deeper and deeper and tried different approaches and really become mindful of how you're fueling your body and also for your family. You've got 3 children.
Right.
And how you're looking at not only you, but also them. You read labels, you're turning products over, you're incredibly mindful now.
Right. And I think that all started, well, it started after kids, but in 2016, you did the intermittent fasting challenge and I was all in on that. And that's probably when I learned the most about reading labels and how important it is to use food as kind of fuel and not so much as just like constant snacking and not reading labels.
I think the word mindfulness gets overused a lot, but I think that for you, that was really what it was. Before you didn't even really have that awareness. You weren't even giving it thought. And then It kind of brought it to the forefront, like, wow, I feel so much better. And like it was full body for you as far as like stress and anxiety and how you handled things. And then also the physical effects and like you liked how your clothes fit better, like the full spectrum. And so I like to bring up like the Twizzler incident of a decade plus ago, because I think for people listening, it's also important that it's like, everyone's kind of on this different space in their journey. And so J Hart, as we're talking about these Costco finds, is not someone I think you're so relatable to people because you know what people are interested in. You also know what tastes good. You know what your family is going to like. And it's not like you've always been this person who's sort of like, this like
A label reader.
Yeah. And kind of like, unapproachable, or like the types of things that people aren't going to like, what people like. So with that, I walked through last weekend through the Costco here in New Orleans, and I went through and I snapped photos of, you counted it hard, it was about 49 products. So we could,
correct. Yeah.
we'll roughly say 50, because I'm sure an extra one's going to sneak in there. And what we'll do is we'll kind of walk through this in the order. And so as I was wrangling J Hart to join me for this, I was like, imagine as if we're just walking through the aisles together, and like we can just talk about these things. So with that, do you mind if we just kind of start like in the order that you walk through the store?
Perfect.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So whenever you walk into the one that's the New Orleans Costco, do you kind of start on the left, like where that whole produce section is, and then kind of work your way to the back and
around
towards the front? Okay. So I think what I would just say to anyone, all of our listeners, is that everything in that produce section, it's fine. And so we won't even talk about that, because I think that that's sort of like a given. The produce section, that chill area that is always like so cold. All of the produce in there, fine. And then as you kind of start to wrap around, you've got all your seafood, your fresh fish, your lean meats. We won't even touch on that, because those are the things that they are just there. They're nutritionally sound. They're always, but they're not anything that's exciting for us to talk about for something new. One of the first things as you start to wrap around there, then you start to get into kind of the prepared food spaces. And I think we can talk, let's talk first about those Kevin's. Have you tried some of those products?
I've never tried Kevin's, and I'll be perfectly honest, I'm always a little hesitant on the already like pre-cooked meat.
Yes.
But I noticed you had a lot of the Kevin's, so now I'm intrigued.
What makes you nervous about pre-cooked meat?
I don't know. I don't know if I've always tried the wrong kind and it's never as good. And then I never really know how high, what sodium I should be alarmed with.
Okay.
Alarmed by, I guess, the number.
On the pre-cooked meats, is it also like, is it going to taste good? Is it going to be rubbery? Is it not?
Right. Okay. The rubbery.
So we'll start there. Kevin's, two things. One, I had actually interviewed Kevin of Kevin's for this podcast a couple of years ago, because his PR people had reached out. I think they probably sent like a mass media pitch, but I was like, wait, I love this product. It's so interesting, because it's exactly what you just said, is that fear. Brad is so particular about that. Like if he has one bite of something that's like a weird piece of like, fatty, gristly, whatever it is, chicken or that fatty beef, the whole thing's done. Like he pushes it away. Like he has no interest in it. And so I was, we thought the same thing. And so I don't know why we rolled the dice the first time that we did to say, hey, let's try this. And he was like, wow, this is like restaurant quality, or it's like homemade quality, that someone who's so particular and is like perfectly trimming that chicken and perfectly trimming that beef. And so when I asked Kevin about it, I was like, this is like next level, because it doesn't taste processed. The meats aren't rubbery. They're not weird, and they're not like fatty or gristly. He said they have like basically like a mantra throughout their company that is like no bad bites, or it might be like no weird bites. Okay. And they actually, when they started deciding like, here's the types of cuts we want to bring in, they were such perfectionists that they outsourced like a new company to produce it as they wanted it. Like they were like, it must meet exactly our specifications. So it's like if you had that person who's handling it with such care to create that. So the interesting thing about those meats, because a lot of times you might be like, well, I'll do the sauce and I'll put it on with my own protein because I'll be comfortable with that. But their beef, their chicken are really, really good. So if y'all haven't tried Kevin's, a lot of times it is in a white box. It's kind of like a lot of white space on it. You'll see it. And there's Kevin's, there's two kind of main categories they have. They have the paleo line, and then they have the keto line. And they're all still really low sugar. The keto line is even a little bit lower, but the ones that are at Costco now is Korean barbecue style beef. We had that just a couple of days ago. And again, Brad was like, wow, this is like better than something you get at a restaurant. And you know how he is on that.
Right.
There's a sirloin steak tips with gravy. And then there's also a roasted garlic chicken that is all under the Kevin's brand. And so with these, the ingredients are all things that we would have in our kitchen. Things like it's grass-fed beef, it's barbecue sauce. The a lot of these, like the barbecue sauce one on that one, if you look at that heart on the Korean barbecue, they kind of break it down, like, so you can see like what's in the beef. And the beef is basically just beef that's sous vide with like vinegar and salt, onion juice, black pepper. And then the barbecue sauce is a lot of, sesame oil, lemongrass puree. But you see they use like monk fruit. So they're keeping their sugars low with things like monk fruit when they have barbecue sauces or teriyaki sauce or anything.
Okay.
So
I see that.
Any of the Kevin's products, and they have a lot of them at Costco especially, but any of those, I would say go for it.
Okay, great. I'm going to definitely add this Korean barbecue to my next trip.
The sodium is a little bit, I would say the sodium is a little bit more like individual. And so also, I guess one other quick note I'll say on all those Kevin's that we talked about is that the protein tends to be around, like there's a chicken dish that is their roasted garlic chicken, and it's like 21 protein. The total carbs is 3. For something like the Korean barbecue, it's 20 protein. The total carbs is 7. There's just a smidge more. So they're all pretty rich in protein and either low or moderate in carbohydrates. So all good options there. The sodium though, that the kind of like the upper limit for people varies. And I'm looking at the Kevin's. There's one that was like 440 for an entree. One that was 650. And then let's see, there may have been,
I think they were all in the 400s, and then the barbecue was the 650.
And so, if someone has got to like really watch their sodium like really tightly, these might be a little bit high. Because if someone's got like really sensitive to sodium and they're really having to be very strict on it, they might be limited to 1,500 milligrams of sodium a day, or maybe 2,000. But for most people, if you're active, if you're sweating, if you're, then I would say that 650 starts to get a little bit high for people, but in the 4s for a full meal, when you're looking still at keeping it under, 2,000, 2,300 milligrams a day, which is still considered a very moderate intake, that 2,000 to 2,300 sodium for the day for most average people kind of gives you that frame of reference.
Okay.
So 2,000, 2,300, then 450 is like, yeah, okay.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Right.
650 starts to get a smidge up there, but they're still pretty moderate again, compared to a lot of others.
Okay.
Also kind of in that same category. So that's where those are, is like when you are like going into, they're still the refrigerated section. They're not the big freezer coolers that you're having to reach into. It's like right next to the seafood. They're in the refrigerated section, sort of near where they'll have like the cheeses and stuff like that.
Right.
And then there's another brand that is called Kitchens of Framani. And they have similar kind of to the Kevin's. They don't have quite as many, but there's a chicken marsala, and there is a cauliflower with like a Romano.
Yeah, the cauliflower looked really good.
It looks delicious. So we got that. Now on that, nutritionally, the ingredients are not quite, they're not the quality that something like Kevin's is. Kevin's is almost to the point where I don't even have to turn the product over. I just know that if it's a Kevin's brand, like I've never seen a Kevin's product that has a questionable ingredient in there that I'm like, I'm not so sure about that. These, there might be a little bit of flour, a little bit of butter kind of towards the end of the ingredient list. So stuff that's not just like so ideal nutritionally, but I would say for just variety's sake, we really like this cauliflower. It's like cauliflower with like a Parmesan pecorino cheese with cracked black pepper. I mean, it's sort of like a Alfredo, like a pasta Alfredo, but cauliflower. So that's one that we like. It's not something we would have on like to have saying, oh, this is so healthy, but it's a way that you would have like just mixing things up. It's a different way to have cauliflower.
Right. It looks restaurant quality. Like it looks fancy.
Yeah. So those
makes you feel a little fancy eating it.
I think those are the main ones that are kind of like entree-ish. Actually, more in Kevin's. There was the beef and broccoli stir fry. There was even more in that whole section. So yeah, bottom line on that, we could go through all the Kevin's. And then there was an orange chicken that I forgot to mention too. Those are some that if you do see it, just like I said, you could pretty much go in there and like know that it's going to be good quality ingredients. Something like the orange chicken is one orange chicken is usually like fried and really sugary. And so that one is a little bit higher sugar. It's like 10 grams of sugar. But But again, when you look at the ingredients, it's like very quality ingredients. So let's take a minute to share about Caraway Home, our partner for this week's episode. With so many collections of their kitchenware to explore, there is truly a Caraway solution for every kind of cook. Their thoughtfully designed sets and complementary storage makes getting and staying organized easier than ever. Plus, their non-toxic, chemical-free ceramic coating means that food can be prepared with peace of mind that no strange chemicals are going to be sneaking into our healthy ingredients. Every set is available in these beautiful elevated colors that can fit with any design aesthetic. We love our Caraway cookware. It's our go-to for everything from seared salmon to creamy spinach to our Eat Fit candied macadamias. Visit carawayhome.com/fueled to take advantage of this limited time offer for 10% off your next purchase. This deal is exclusive for our listeners, so visit carawayhome.com/fueled or use promo code fueled at checkout. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. What's next on the ones that I sent you that you want to kind of go to next? If you were like walking through the store, kind of in those spaces.
I like the Starbucks.
Oh yeah. Have you tried those?
I haven't tried them, but I've tried to make these on my own before, and they always get stuck to the cupcake pans when I try to make them. So it's just one of those things that's like easier to buy.
Yes. Okay. So Starbucks fans, if you've had, I remember when these came out, I was like over the moon that Starbucks had like something that wasn't just a bready sandwich option, you know?
Right.
And so what Hart is talking about is the sous vide egg bites. And when you're at Starbucks, you'll see that there's like the regular egg bites and then there's the egg white bites. And Costco has both of these. And so the egg white is egg whites with roasted red peppers. And those are, of course, as you would expect, they are like lower calorie, lower saturated fat. Of the egg white bites, it's like 11 protein, 10 grams of carbs. And then of the non-egg whites, there's the regular eggs. It's like uncured bacon and Gruyere. Those are my favorite, actually. Like, they're really good. Which one do you usually get? The egg white or the non? Or the
so I never buy these, but if you want me to go to what I do always buy, that's a breakfast food. It's the, so we live in Covington, so it's a special occasion when we go make the trips to Costco, and we always stock up on the egg wedges that you have on there. I was happy to see those.
Yes.
Obsessed. Like Sean and I both, like, they're just so easy to grab and go.
Yes. So those are, we'll come to that in just a sec. One more thing on the sous vide bites is we've tried to make them also ourselves, because especially when they came out at Starbucks and before you could buy them, I was like, well, maybe our cafe could make these. And like, it feels impossible. Like, they collapse in the middle. Like you said, they stick to the pan.
Yeah.
Like, it's just it's like such a challenge on that. And so, in these, I was looking at the ingredients. Yeah. The first ingredient is cottage cheese.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
Right. So the first ingredient, cottage cheese, and there's like caged-free eggs. And then again, they come in either egg whites or regular egg. The carbs in there are mostly from like rice starch and cornstarch. So even, they have about, depending on the variety, like 8 to 10 carbs. And then the regular egg bites are like 17 protein. So to me, those are like a really good, they're a good like breakfast in a pinch, but they're also a really good like just snack in a pinch to have something like that. Okay. And then what Jay Hart was also talking about, I love popping over to the other breakfast, is what are they called?
Egg wedge.
Yes. So you'll see these in like the freezer section. And so basically instead of like a English muffin, it uses the egg patty. I've looked at these. I've talked about these on our WGNO segment, but I've never actually heated them and ate them.
Oh, they're delicious. Like, we both, Sean's kind of hard to please with like that kind of stuff. And we'll buy like at least 6 boxes and we store them in the downstairs freezer.
And they don't, like, the egg patty doesn't stick to your fingers or get kind of like.
It doesn't at all. You wrap it in a paper towel, like a damp paper towel, and you throw it in the microwave, and it's fantastic.
Okay. So these.
And it's like what you said, I like that it's not the bread, it's the actual egg is the sandwich patty. And
the stats on it, 17 protein, only 3 carbs, so, and it's the egg patty. So if you can like visualize, just like, it's almost like a little circular, little egg patty. It has a little bit of cornstarch in it just to give it like some body. But again, for 3 grams of carbs for the whole thing, it's like not much starch at all. And then it has the turkey sausage patty and a slice of cheese in there that kind of holds it all together.
Right.
And then did we have any other breakfast ones in here? Oh, have you ever tried those, that product, that like Veggies Made Great product with those little frittatas?
I think I have. I think I've tried them. They kind of remind me of the Starbucks in a little
Mhm.
bit, right?
Yeah, the company Veggies Made Great has all types of things that are sort of like little muffin things. They may have like little, like almost like brownie kind of muffins that have maybe zucchini hidden in them or
Yeah, I
something
think
like
we
that.
bought those before.
I think that they're okay, but they're sort of
Hmm.
like kind of sneaking it in. These I really like, and these are sort of just like you said, like kind of like the Starbucks bites. These are a little bit more like a muffin, like a little mini muffin, like you would do in your muffin tin. That is basically just egg whites, spinach, some veg in there tossed in, and it's these great little like almost like a little muffin bite. And then each of these, they're only like 70 calories. They're little bites. They're like 5 protein, 5 carbs. And what's interesting too on the ingredients there, there's actually more vegetables than eggs.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, I was like, I didn't even see eggs in here at first, but yeah, there's vegetable blend is first. Like there's more spinach, tomatoes, onions, and red peppers than there is even the egg whites. And then there's mozzarella. But yeah, nice ingredients in there. So for breakfast options at Costco, that's actually a lot. We've got the sous vide egg
Okay. Yeah.
bites, the Veggies Made Great brand that's also in that reach in freezer section, and then the egg witches also in that freezer section. Um, where do you want to go next?
I was going to ask you about, I noticed that, so I've always bought the 000 yogurts because
Oh
that's
yeah.
it has been your recommendation in the past, but I noticed you put 2 Chobanis on there.
Yeah, have you seen the triple zeros at Costco lately?
Oh, you know what? I grab them when I go to Sam's.
Mm.
They
Um,
haven't had them.
yeah, they haven't had them lately. Okay, so the Chobani Complete that I snapped a photo of, this is like a little, it's a shake. It's like a little drinkable yogurt. And
Yes, that intrigued me.
oh my gosh, I'll get Brad to bring, he has some at work. I'll ask him to pass one to Sean for you to
Fantastic.
take home. They are 20 grams of protein. There's like 0 added sugar. I believe they're monk fruit sweetened. I didn't have the nutrition, the ingredient list here, but they are 0 added sugar, 20 grams of protein. He loves these. And like, I'm pretty sure it's monk fruit in there. I've got them in my fridge, but like he typically, sometimes like even that can be a little bit of like a taste that he'll pick up on if it's like monk fruit sweetened. He's like,
Hmm.
loves these. In fact, when he went back to Costco and came back with just some things for like a quick dinner we were doing for my parents last week and his parents. And he brought home like 2 more cases of these. I'm like, we don't have room in our fridge for
Oh,
this. But he was like, oh no, I need them at work. I'm like, so that Chobani Complete is like a drinkable yogurt he adores. And then the Chobani Zero Sugar, that is just, I like this one because it's just the flavored option of flavored Greek yogurt, but again, 0 added sugar.
hmm.
The 000, I still definitely love the Oikos 000. But what's interesting is like a lot of people have told me that they don't like it, that they're picking up on something that they perceive as being like artificial in it, even though there's no artificial sweeteners in it.
Okay. It's the
Mhm.
one thing that like you recommend that my kids definitely eat. So like
Yeah.
it's a staple in our household, but I do want to try the drink version because I think that's
Yes.
fun and I think they like it. And it has 20 grams of protein, which is
Yeah.
like filling. It's
Yeah.
actually filling for them.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, definitely the Oikos 000 is still a go. But then from a Costco find, these Chobani completes and the flavors are like, I think that they currently have is mixed berry vanilla and then like strawberry cream. So yeah, give those a try. And then just the Chobani Zero Sugar is just a way to have like flavored Greek yogurt without the sugar.
Okay.
Okay, showing up next, or what do you want to go next?
I was oh, you want to talk about cereal?
I was just looking
Since
at that
while
too.
we're kind of on the breakfast area.
Uh-huh.
So I've had the Catalina Crunch and the Magic Spoon before. And they're okay, but I really like the Premier Protein stuff, and I've never seen the cereal, so I definitely want to try that.
Tell me how you felt about the Catalina Crunch and the Magic Spoon.
The Magic Spoon I felt tasted like air, like I didn't like
Really?
the way it tasted. Maybe I tried. I think it was a peanut butter flavor I
Okay.
bought. Um, And then the Catalina Crunch kind of upset my stomach.
Okay.
I don't know if that was like maybe the erythritol in it or something. I don't know.
Let's see. I'm looking at it's got stevia and monk fruit are the sweeteners in the Catalina, and pea protein, but pea protein is pretty neutral for people. So I wouldn't think that would do that for you. The fiber.
I did like it tasting, like taste wise, it was great, but it's also a little bitty bag and it's kind of expensive.
Yeah. And then the Magic Spoon, I've tried that so the Magic Spoon for our listeners, the two that we're talking about, the Catalina Crunch. The Catalina Crunch is for about a half cup serving, it's about 11 grams of protein, 9 grams of fiber, 0 sugar. And that's the one I was just saying to Hart is like pea protein. They've got some extra fibers added in there. It's sweetened with stevia, monk fruit extract. The variety they currently have at Costco is like cinnamon toast. And then they have so many other varieties of the Catalina Crunch cereal, but currently cinnamon toast there. And it's sort of like a flake type cereal, or I guess like maybe a little bit like old school cinnamon toast crunch. It's sort of that.
That's shape. What it reminds me of.
Yeah. Same shape as that. And then the Magic Spoon cereal, this is totally different. It's like an O's type of a cereal. Mm-hmm. And I had the fruity, which is what this flavor is simply called, is like fruity. I'd had that and I thought, I mean, it's been a really long time since I've had Fruit Loops as a kid, but I kind of thought like, to me, it reminded me of that. So I'd love to see what you thought of like the fruity version of it.
So maybe I'll try the fruity version and that's something I can like, one of those kid tricks.
Yeah.
Because they don't have to know that it's
right.
the better option for them. And look at the box looks really fun.
You're right. You're right. The Catalina Crunch looks like an adult higher protein, low carb cereal. The Magic Spoon cereal has like, it's a girl because she's got a ponytail. She has glasses that also could look like goggles. And she might be riding like a
bird. Maybe or something, but it looks fun. It looks like a kid's cereal. So I appreciate that because that makes it easier to sneak into my kid's diet.
Right. I totally agree. So, and that one has like 13 grams of protein. It has 0 sugar. It is no artificial colors, even though it's like super vibrant colors. It is all like natural vegetable juice colors in there. So there's no food dyes or artificial colors there. There's no sugar, but there's also no artificial sweeteners in there. Sweetened with monk fruit again there. So that would be one that I do think the Catalina Crunch, a little bit more of the adult version of it, the Magic Spoon, a little bit more of that kid version. And then the Premier Protein, this is one that I do like. 20 grams of protein. It has only 5 grams like total sugar in there and 4 of that's added. It used to be sweetened with sucralose, which is Splenda, but now they've actually, I'm pretty sure that was what it was sweetened with. Now it's sweetened with stevia. So I think that that's a good shift. So I think that that's also one that would be, knowing that certain different types of sweeteners can kind of upset your stomach. I think that this would be one to try. It does have that little bit of real sugar. Like it's got, but it has like, just a trace amount. It's like 4 grams added sugar. So it's still going to be a really good option.
Okay.
Are there any other that are kind of in this breakfast category?
What about protein bars, or is that not?
Yeah. Lately they haven't had a huge range of protein bars at Costco.
Well, I saw you added the Meta Bar, and I had a question on, so I always do look at added sugar, and this one has like sugar alcohol is 8, and I wasn't entirely sure what that meant.
Good question. So sometimes, labels now, fortunately, they're required to say not just total sugars, but how much of that is added sugar. So for years, it would only tell us total sugar. So if it was like flavored Greek yogurt, you had to like guess, well, how much of that is from the natural yogurt and how much of that is from sugar pumped into there. Now food makers have to separate it out, total sugars and then added sugars. What's optional is for them to list out like the sugar alcohols. And sometimes they list the sugar alcohols. Sometimes you may see it as like other carbohydrates, or sometimes they may actually list what that sugar alcohol is. But in this case, it is, I'm looking at it, it looks like it is the erythritol is probably what they're putting in there. I see erythritol in their ingredient list and I don't see any others. And so they're letting us know that of their 17 carbs, 7 of it's fiber, there's 0 added sugar, and 8 grams of that is erythritol. You're sensitive to that erythritol. So That's
Right. And
what's,
because I noticed the protein bars from Costco, it labeled out like 2 grams of erythritol, which I was interested seeing that it was actually like measured out.
yeah. Yeah. The Kirkland brand protein bar.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so knowing how sensitive you are to it, I'm not sure that either of these would be a good fit for you. But if you were going to try one or the other, if since you are sensitive to sugar alcohols and you're sensitive to erythritol specifically, like just things that you've had, it seems like that's sort of like personally for you, one that you avoid. And so of these two bars, that would probably be the one that I would say to try is the Kirkland brand. And it's not a very creative name. They literally just call it protein bar.
Yeah. The Kirkland brand is one, like we order those from Costco and have it shipped. We keep them in stock at the house. I've always liked those.
Okay. And it
And
doesn't
they've
bother
done
your
okay.
stomach?
It's been fine.
Yeah. Okay. So the Costco brand, the Kirkland brand, just simply protein bar is what they call it, 21 grams of protein. And this is one where it can be confusing for people. It says 22 grams of carbs, but then if you're looking at the front of it, it's probably going to tell us like how many net carbs is in it. And so this is, let's see, I'm looking to see if my photo may or may not have cut off the net carbs. But so it says 22 grams of carbs, but then of that, there's 10 fiber. So you always subtract your fiber. And then you would also subtract like the erythritol. So, or whatever's the sugar alcohol. So actually, this is a great example because, yeah, the first one said sugar alcohols. And
Hmm.
then this one is actually telling us it's erythritol. You know,
Right. I noticed that. That's why I was like, I
yeah.
made a little note to ask about the sugar alcohol.
Yeah.
I was wondering if that meant, okay.
And so, yeah, food makers, they can kind of like, they could choose to spell out, oh, it's erythritol, or they could just put sugar alcohol in there. And so on here, it's 22 carbs. And then you would subtract your fiber, which is 10. And then you would subtract the sugar alcohol, or in this case, erythritol, which is 2. So it's 22 minus 10 minus 2. So it's basically 10 grams net carbs. And that net carbs basically means that's how much of what's this carbohydrate is actually having any impact on our glucose levels. So if you look at, okay, it's 21 protein and 10 grams net carbs. So that's a really good ratio for a bar.
Okay.
And then something like that meta bar with like that higher 8 gram sugar alcohol might leave you, it might not sit as well with you.
Okay.
Over on that bar area, and it's kind of at our Costco in New Orleans, it's kind of in the whole middle section. There's a couple of other little things in there. They are really good. Have you tried any of those little like keto nuggets that we have here or like the little
No, but I
clusters?
put a star next to them as a one in my pantry item. Both looked really good.
Yeah,
I
they're
noticed one they did the same thing. Like this one's broken down better with the sugar alcohol
yeah, exactly.
listed.
Exactly. So these are like little clusters. Like, how would you even describe them? Like, I feel like there's something that like people make at the holidays that are like this.
Yeah, they look delicious in the bag.
They're
And
not like,
there's always something I wanted. Like whenever you just want like a little piece of
yeah,
chocolate to like cure that craving. And I was shocked it even had protein in it to begin with. Like
yeah. These are like, they're like crispy because like inside of it, there's like pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, but then they're covered in chocolate. So they're like these like crispy, like little sweet, savory chocolate, like covered thing. They kind of look like how like a chocolate turtle is, but they're not gooey like a chocolate turtle. Like they're not
right.
caramelly.
That's a good visualization.
And
The
then
chocolate
like
turtle.
crispy in there. And so those little, the brand is called Inno Foods, INNO Foods, and they have the little almond pecan clusters that are kind of like these little sweet and savory little clusters of goodness. And then the same little dark chocolate, they call it keto nuggets that have some of the flaky coconut, pumpkin, sunflower seeds. So checking those out. And then I think backing back up a little bit to the nut butters. Do y'all use any of these, like the almond butter or the nutso?
Okay, so I've bought almond butter before, and I find it has like a thicker layer of oil,
Yeah.
which tend to like it kind of annoys me with like mixing it.
Yeah.
But the nutso thing you had on here, like I would buy this. It looks interesting and good.
It's so good. The nutso is like, so it's Nuttzo. Nutritionally, like if you're having like peanut butter or almond butter or this nutso, they're all rich in plant-based fats. There's, essentially no added sugar. If they do, it's just like the smallest bit of added sugar. usually they're going to have maybe a little bit of salt added, but the nutritionals on them all are going to be like roughly the same, but the composition varies a lot. So the nutso is like, it's got Brazil nuts and flax seeds and chia seeds and pumpkin seeds. It has a little bit of sea salt and then like cashews and almonds through there. So it's like this, like every bite has like a lot of like crispy, crunchy also inside of that nutso. So that one to me is like, it's just a fun, like a good variety to keep around.
And so do you like that kind of stuff better than the peanut butter powder?
The powder,
or is it different?
I don't really use the peanut butter powder we don't actually use it for anything on the regular, like inside at our house, but like I do like it as an option for smoothies.
That's when we use it for.
Yeah.
Sean uses it for smoothies a lot.
Yeah. So the peanut butter powder is basically like defatted peanuts, and so it has some have sugar in it, some don't. The one that I sent you the picture of that they currently have at Costco has 2 grams of added sugar, so it's not a crazy amount, but they do make unsweetened versions of peanut butter powder.
Oh.
And it's like the defatted peanut butter, I kind of go both ways on it. One, it dissolves really well and it works well in a smoothie, but kind of part of the reason we want to have like nuts and seeds and stuff like that is because a lot of times we could use that extra fat, or maybe in a smoothie, if you've got like whatever your milk option is and you've got maybe fruits, you've got other stuff in there, but maybe that smoothie doesn't have a whole lot of fat. And so you adding almond butter, peanut butter, or like that nut. So we talked about, I would actually want that to add in the fats to make it like more filling. And so in this, a lot of times that is the option that's bumping your fat up in a good way for something.
Okay.
So
sometimes at night I would do the PB2 with like a little bit of some chocolate chips as like a little dessert, to hold me over like for a tasty treat at night.
What would you put to hold it together?
The PB2 with water.
Okay.
I'd make it into like peanut butter. So I guess is the PB2 better option than peanut butter when you make it peanut buttery?
It's still not going to give you that fat.
Because, right, you're losing what you just said, which I never knew. Okay, that's good to know.
So you may do so it's almost probably feels like a cookie dough, like a batter.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Are you doing regular chocolate chips or a different kind?
Well, just whatever we have on hand. But I do know to look for dark chocolate if I'm going to do chocolate chips. And then we have some bacon chocolate chips that I think are like mainly erythritol kind of sweetened.
Have you
zero
tried
sugar.
The Lilies that are stevia sweetened?
No, I'll have to write that down.
Give that a try. They're not a Costco yet. I mean, maybe one day they will be. But the Lilies has crazy amount of different varieties. In stores, you'll see them. Like Whole Foods, I find has like the best selection of it. But they have regular chocolate chips, and then they have the minis. And so the minis might work well with kind of what you're talking about, but they're stevia sweetened. And then they have like dark chocolate, milk chocolate, white chocolate, but then they'll have like seasonal, like they'll have like the pumpkin spice, or they'll have like a peppermint. They have like a butterscotch. Like they have all these kind of different varieties too.
Okay. I'll look for those.
Yeah. So that would be, and then I think I think the only sweetener, double check it as you're looking at it, but I think that could be good for like that little nighttime treat you're talking about.
Okay. But my nighttime treat is not past 6:00 because I still do your intermittent fasting.
I actually have an article coming out in Avenue Magazine in March about intermittent fasting, kind of revisiting it for like bringing it back to the basics. There's been so much, even just in the past, because we did that with the newspaper in like 2017, and even since then, there's so much more research on like the brain benefits. Like there's so much more research even since then that's been coming out. So that's very cool. Okay. Which other ones do we want to talk about?
Well, I never know the difference you have the different oils and sprays. I never really, I don't know if I ever like pay attention to that really. Should I be?
I wouldn't worry so much about the sprays, but I like at Whole Foods, Costco, they have the avocado spray. I'm less concerned about like what oil is inside of it, because if I'm spraying my pan with avocado oil or olive oil, like it doesn't really matter. But what I like about this is that it's not aerosol.
Okay.
And so it's basically just kind of a mist that doesn't have aerosol in there. And so that's what I like about it. And because what I used to use was the bottle that you poured your own oil into, and then I kind of had the vacuum pump, and then like you would like spritz it. So you was basically a
Right,
way to have
right.
like a non-air, but the thing always got clogged. It was like not ideal. And so this, the brand
Oh
is
yeah, I'm
chosen.
zooming in on the bottle now and I can see. Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Mhm.
We'll start that.
And then,
Uh,
the oils, other than that, there's always at Costco that's where I love to get like the extra virgin olive oil. A lot of times they have unfiltered olive oils, avocado oils, and so a lot of times those can be so pricey, and that the value that we can get there. And then coconut oil, they have
right.
it's a pretty significant size of coconut oil, but it's organic virgin coconut oil. And so ways that we can kind of have some of those plant-based fats that are still affordable. I'm looking at the time. Gosh, we've already been going almost 40 minutes. We're almost done. We're kind of through a lot of them.
Well, while you're talking about the Chosen brand, you also had their avocado
Yes.
uh,
Mayo.
mayo. So is that the better option for mayo?
I like this one. What I like about it is that the first ingredient is avocado oil. Sometimes you'll see what'll be marketed to us as avocado oil mayonnaise, but it's really just soybean oil as the first ingredient. And then further down, they've
Okay.
like tucked a little bit of avocado oil in it, and then they're charging more. So it's not even like, it's not really true pure avocado oil.
Right.
So the Chosen brand is a good quality one. Another one that they don't currently have is Primal
Oh,
Kitchen.
right. I've seen that one.
Yes. So Primal Kitchen, they do have also a mayonnaise. And if I see Primal Kitchen or I see this Chosen Foods, both of those I like as far as that. So the reason I like this one is because it's truly avocado oil mayo, quality oil in there, and they're not sneaking a little bit in with like a regular soybean oil
Right.
based mayonnaise. And then on the topic of condiments, Primal Kitchen, one of the only things I saw currently in Costco by them, Primal Kitchen is a brand that is all like condiments. And so it's like they'll have the mayonnaise, like we just talked about, they'll have salad dressings, teriyaki sauce, barbecue sauce, ketchup. Primal Kitchen is to me is kind of like Kevin's.
You just trust it.
Yeah, I've never found something that they make that I'm like, yeah, not so much. It's a really good brand. And so what they currently have at Costco is their buffalo sauce. Kind of like you would have it just like with like buffalo chicken or something like that. And
Okay.
so but that's what they have now. But every time I go in, a lot of times they'll have different dressings. They may have a Caesar or whatever it is. And so yes, if you see that Primal Kitchen, I would say just that's going to be a good product.
Okay.
Um, I think we can skip over some of these. What else is catching your eye?
Well, I guess for breakfast, real quick again, I noticed you had the Kodiak pancake mix. We always have that in our house, so that's
Yeah.
the good option for
Yeah,
quick pancakes.
there's so many more now. I do really like the Kodiak. It's 100% whole grain. It is it's usually a crowd pleaser in terms of, the texture of it. It feels like what is a pancake that people are used to how pancakes, the texture and
Right.
appearance and all that stuff. At Costco, this is the best option. At other stores now, there's other brands like Birch Benders has some that are like more grain free pancake options. Swerve actually has a grain free pancake option. So there's more beyond this now. But for what's at Costco, that's my favorite.
Okay.
And I like it because it's just 100% whole grain wheat flour, whole grain oat flour. So they're not like slipping in white flour and calling it whole
Right.
grain.
I guess what about also that you had the sweetener on there? Is that
Oh
a
yeah.
sweetener like we should use for cooking and various things that you would recommend
This the
baking?
only one that I think I saw there this time around is by the brand Whole Earth. Do you know Whole Earth is actually the brand that bought Swerve?
Oh, okay.
So Whole Earth, like Swerve now is under that brand. And so this is not that. This isn't Swerve, obviously, but this is their blend of it's like erythritol and monk fruit. And so this would kind of have a taste like, or a level of sweetness like something like Truvia.
Okay.
Because the erythritol is slightly less sweet than sugar. Monk fruit is like hundreds times sweeter than sugar. And so putting the blend of these two together kind of gets you to something that is probably is going to be comparable to Truvia for people. I put that on here because I think for someone who's looking for a plant-based, no-calorie sweetener, this is going to be kind of a good middle of the road because it's pretty neutral. It's going to still be the sweet in there. And you could use it in baking. You could use it in all that. There's so many other like plant-based sweeteners that you could work with. But for what's at Costco, I think this is a great one too.
Okay.
Are you a cottage cheese person at all or no?
I love cottage cheese. So I was really happy to see this on your list too.
The Daisy brand is interesting because like Daisy's just seems sort of like, it seems sort of basic. Like I just remember like growing up, like Daisy.
It's always been around.
Yeah. Like
Right.
their sour cream, their cottage cheese. It's interesting because like I love what Costco has is their 2% cottage cheese. I prefer their full fat, like not the low fat, but I still like this one. But theirs is like one of the only ones that doesn't have like unnecessary fillers, thickeners, and all that kind of stuff. It's like just like pure ingredients. And I mean, even if you're looking at like places like Whole Foods, a lot of those brands will have like other fillers and thickeners and starches and stuff. Whereas the Daisy is just like pure. It's just like clean ingredients.
Tried and true.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's definitely still one of my favorites. Okay. This is one. Well, is there anything else that caught your eye?
The healthy noodles.
Oh, have you tried those like shirataki noodles?
No, but it looks great.
So
I think my kids would eat it too, which is what I liked about it.
well, the product inside of the package for healthy noodles doesn't look like that picture.
I'd have to make it look like this.
You'd have to make it look like that. So the healthy noodle is, I'm happy they have it at Whole Foods. I mean, I keep saying Whole Foods, Costco. It is, if you look in a grocery store, sometimes in the produce section or sometimes by like the tofu and stuff, they have different names for it. Sometimes they call it miracle noodles. Sometimes they'll call it shirataki noodles. And they're basically clear, almost, they look like a cellophane noodle, but they're very, very low carb, like 10 calories for the whole pouch of them. They're usually like packed in some sort of a liquid. You drain it. When you open it, sometimes it has like a strong smell. Like they're not, like you got to like doctor them up. But nutritionally, I like them because they're very low carb. They give a nice texture to things that to me, the texture of the noodle kind of feels like pad thai noodles.
Okay.
A little sticky like that. So I think they work really well with a dish like pad thai, sort of like the one that they put on their package here. But they are just like a clear, flavorless, tasteless noodle that like you would put it in a colander, you run some water, you rinse it, and then you would prepare it however you prepared it.
Okay.
But
I can do that.
the healthy noodle is definitely a decent ingredient there. What else jumped out?
Oh, well, I can tell you what I probably won't be trying that was on your list.
I think I can guess.
The fish.
Do you mean the
Right?
chips?
Both. You had some stackers and some chips. And I just put on my notes, I was like, no.
Okay, the chips are made with salmon skin. They're like salmon skin chips. They sort of have, you can see that picture on the bag. They're like crackling type texture or like pork rind, I guess, type texture.
And they're good?
Here's the thing, like I thought they tasted really good. Like I took a bite, I'm like, oh wow, they're kind of like salty. They had a little like, it almost felt like there's a little cheesiness on them, but then I could just taste salmon for like a long time after that.
Oh yeah, no, I couldn't.
I know. So I gave them to a neighbor. He adores them, loves them.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's too big of a bag to like.
It's an acquired taste.
Or you have to really like salmon and be fine with like walking around with like salmon taste.
Okay. Well.
The salmon stackers.
Yeah, I was like, that was the first picture I saw, and I was like, oh, I don't know how this segment's gonna go.
Like, this is gonna be a long podcast. What I like about this, and so y'all, what Hart's talking about, it's sort of like a lunchable type arrangement inside of this little package, where one compartment is like salmon, the other compartment is like a lemon chive kind of cream cheese spread, and then the other compartment is like rice crackers. And so the rice crackers, to me, I like this because it was at least better quality for like a packaged something like that, like a Lunchable.
I like how it's grab and go. I like that.
Yeah. But yeah, those are both going to have to be like a, you know, for the person who likes that kind of thing. I would also say one that's nutritionally good, but I think is an acquired taste. Have you tried those wild chips?
I have not.
It's the one, it's in the orange bag, and it's called, it's buffalo style crispy chips. And so it's wild with an E at the end, WILDE. And they call them wild protein chips, but it's actually chicken. Like the actual.
Wait, these were on the list? I think I saw this. Okay. Yeah. The buffalo.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
interesting.
Sean loves chicken, like Jay Hart's husband. He loves chicken, but I don't know if he would love these. But like the chip is actually made of chicken.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Mm-hmm. Like chicken is the first ingredient, and then it's got all types of seasonings and stuff like that. So, and they're really crispy. So like you bite into it, they're thin, they're crispy, just like a potato chip.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
I would maybe be more willing to try this.
Yeah. And it's not going to stay with you like the salmon chips do. Right. So of the kind of protein-based chips, the wild would be one, and they have like a ton of different flavors. Okay. So yeah, I would give those a try. And then I think that we've kind of gone through our roundup. One that's on here is the almond flour tortillas. Have you used these the Siete?
I've used the chips for that brand. I haven't seen the tortillas.
Yeah, I really like, I like those tortillas a lot. They're like a lower carb, grain-free tortilla. I put those I melt some cheese on it, and just that's kind of like my pre-workout. When I want something that's going to like digest easily, sit well, kind of neutral. These almond flour tortillas with like a piece of cheese melted is like my go-to. Okay, I think that we hit most of them.
I mean, I have a great list to bring with me next time I go. I'm excited. I'm really excited about the cereal. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I think there's tell me what the kids say with that.
Yeah, that's why I'm super excited about the cereal, because that's always the struggle is they see the container or the box and they're like, "Oh, this is healthy. Why are you always about," and like I didn't think about that before until we had the conversation, that I do appreciate the fun box, which makes it look like it's not going to be good for them.
And it doesn't really even indicate it. It's just called Magic Spoon. Yeah.
Right.
One that's kind of up at the top of what I sent you, but it was turned around, is the bitchin' sauce. Have you tried that?
No, but I've heard you talk about it before.
Yeah. That's, I realized I didn't have a front of that package. You just only had the ingredients in here. Do you like things that have a little bit of a kick or a spice?
I do. And Sean really does.
Okay. This is one I would try then. There's regular bitchin' sauce, and then there's the bitchin' sauce chipotle. And the one that they have there currently now is like the chipotle bitchin' sauce. What's crazy is it's like super creamy. But the whole thing's vegan. It's like made with, sunflower oil. It's got almonds in there. It's like,
so what do you do with this? Cause I did write it down, and I wrote like a question, like, is it for dipping?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a sauce for dipping. I mean, you could also put it on something, I suppose, but it's more like you would use it like a dip.
Okay.
Yeah, I found it, I first saw it during, like right around the time that COVID started. And I was getting like the smaller containers of it at Whole Foods. And we ran into David Halpern and I was like, you know how like also it felt like during COVID, like things went and things weren't being replenished normally and stuff like that.
Right.
And so I was like, oh, good. They finally have bitchin' sauce back in. And I got like 3 containers. I was like, maybe that was all they had on the shelf. And I got the last 3. And we run into David, and Brad's like, oh, David, like check out this like new dip that Molly is really liking. Molly, give him one to try. And I was like, I remember like so silly, but I felt like I'm going to like relinquish one of these. Like
you're like I got the last 3 tips.
Right.
Brad.
And it was like, we're not going anywhere. We're only at home. It was like deep in quarantine, and like,
right.
At least we have our bitchin' sauce, so it was like such a stupid, I remember like in the moment feeling like, just give them the container. But in my mind, I felt like a little bit of turmoil about it.
Right.
Right. So the bitchin' sauce is, I think that would be one to try. It's crazy. So it's like almonds. If you look at the ingredients, like you would be like, yeah, it's like almonds. It's got things like nutritional yeast in there, all kinds of spices, but it's like, it's a really good flavor, and it's like strikingly like creamy with a little bit of a kick in there.
Okay.
Okay, sweet. All right. So I think we've kind of gone through the run through. I really appreciate you talking through these with me. And then let me know what you think of these, and I'll ask Brad to pass along some of those Chobani drinkables for you too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for always being a great resource for this kind of stuff.
And if there's anything that you see as you're passing through Costco and you're like, hey, here's for like your next Costco finds, or also to our listeners who are here, send them in, like send them my way, and we'll kind of stock them up for another one that we'll do down the road.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Hart.
Thanks, Molly. Appreciate it.
So a tremendous thank you to Jay Hart for carving out the time to talk through Costco finds with me. Stuff like that, topics like this are always a little bit more fun when we make it a conversation. And I think, it was her first podcast ever. I think she did a really great job. So let me know what you think. If there's other products that you've seen lately that you're like, hey, try this, or what do you think about this product, or include this next time, let me know. If you incorporate some of these products, you try them out, always share it with me. I want to hear about it. I am registered dietitian Molly Kimball, and you've been listening to Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, the podcast. If you'd like more Fueled Wellness and Nutrition, please head over to mollykimball.com. You can follow me, Molly Kimball RD, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you haven't yet, please go to Apple Podcasts and subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. Join us next week for another dose of Fueled Wellness and Nutrition. Thanks for listening, and stay focused on living your strongest, healthiest life.